Good morning. It's morning where I am, but I guess greetings to you and greeting to whatever time and experience you're having when you might be interacting with this film. My name is Alyssa. If we haven't met in real life or we haven't seen each other in a while, I think about everyone who practices with me all the time, whether we've met or not. Constantly sort of curious about you, and as much as it's very small impact, I do send you thoughts and think about how you're doing in your experience, both of this in your life. So know that you're in my thoughts. Welcome to this class. This is a flow class, so a Vinyasa class, and it's donation based. The offering is through an organization, a community called Posers that's based in Seattle. And Posers has always been donation based. We have a sliding scale suggestion of $10 to $25, but no one's ever turned away for lack of funds. And for the last couple of weeks and continuing on into this week, this recording and all of the other recordings that I make and upload to YouTube as tools for yoga practice, for personal power and peace practice, are raising funds, are taking donations for the Minnesota Healing Justice Network, which if you do this regularly, you've probably heard my spiel already, but it's a Minnesota-based organization started by doulas and midwives, Black and brown, femme, and non-binary LGBTQ plus folks who are hoping to use their skills, use the fundraising coming to them, use their organization to help balance out inequities for Black and brown folks, especially in the Minneapolis area. And so they do work with acupuncturists, and I believe there are some more yoga and breathwork wellness folks starting to get on board inside of that network, and they help to train and compensate those folks for their actual skill sets and their work. And they also help to bring them, to direct them and get them into communities and into spaces of service where folks are underserved, where they don't get access to community welfare and need, etc. So donate. Donate to the Minnesota Healing Justice Network. I always give their PayPal direct, so you can go direct and donate to them, and that's just great. Thank you so much. Or if you donate to me, that's also just fine. I sent it on every week. We're making a little more. We sent about $100 last week, so thank you so much for those donations. If you're donating elsewhere, know that that's also fine. Please spread your abundance around to Black folks, spread your abundance around in your communities. And if you're protesting, protest, right, in whatever way you are. Know that a lot of this practice is based on the context that you may be dealing with mentally, physically, the context of coming up against change and coming up against rapid change and allowing yourself to move through things, allowing yourself the space to experience change. And I think one of the hard things, at least I've been experiencing about change my whole life, is like even when I've made the change, or when I get to the point of change, my thinking mind is like, wait, but is this okay? Wait, can I be here? And like the rationale of our logic is a skill, right? We can use it to cultivate wisdom. But a lot of times, real change in the way that we are, real change in the way that we interact with our lifetime and our priorities and our importances, what we build here has to do with what is integrated deeper into the body, or maybe, depending on how you look at these things, into the energy of the self, into the energy of the heart. In yoga, we do a lot of these heart practices. In Buddhism, there's the metta practices of loving kindness. And I think that these seem kind of simple, or they seem like nothing. The idea is as we do a ritual of loving kindness with ourselves, of compassion and awareness with ourselves, planting a seed so that we might continue that forward into our discernment and our experience. And so notice, when you get to the other side of something new and you realize something new, and you look back at how things have been, and you think, well, how can I rationale what I didn't know before, and how my actions weren't as they, I know they need to be now, et cetera, or so on. And how can I allow myself to flow with this change or be with this action of change? The context is really compassion again, right? The loving kindness enough to be with the truth, right? The truth is often not easy, especially the truths that motivate us towards union, honestly, because those places of friction are easy to pretend aren't there. It's like so much easier to go around them, right? It's so much easier not to sit with them or to say, oh, this friction is because I'm being attacked, etc., or so on. And remember that all of those things are righteous, right? Some of those things might be happening to you, et cetera, and so on. But sitting with the friction and knowing who you are inside of that and letting that friction maybe build the heat of change, right? Build a little bit of fire, right? And this context of owning rage as an act of love really comes, I think, similarly, at least in my gut, from this place of feeling that friction is then a rechanneling, an ability to powerfully change. All right, so we'll flow, and I won't talk too much about that during this flow. It's just a little context. And if it's not for you, it's always okay to let it go. Remember, I'm a human, and I only have so much context for you, especially as we're in different time and space. So this practice is a tool for you. This video is a tool for you. You can turn it off. You can pause it. You can get a little pen on your iPad or your phone and draw little, smiley faces on my face or something, do whatever you want. It's for you. Do what makes sense for you, and change it. Let yourself liberate. That's the context of yoga for me, that liberation practice is about power and peace, about structure and ease, about figuring out balance that allows us to sustain change, that allows us to sustain even through friction and difficulty. All right. I like to get started by uniting with 3 rounds of the seed sound of Om. I offer Om as a secular chant, acknowledging the interconnection between all things. If for any reason Oming or chanting isn't for you, feel free to sit with us in presence instead. Otherwise, let the lids of your eyes close and let your hands drop to a reasonable spot. I like to sit up on something so my hips are higher than my knees. You're always welcome to pause and adjust to take that time. You can even sit in a chair or do this practice standing. Om is the sound of the universe, our interconnection, our network, our efficacy inside of that network, our power and humility. For any reason at all, oming or chanting isn't for you, or perhaps you're in a room or a space where quiet is required, sit with us in presence and silence instead. Take a moment. Take a moment to believe in your own magic enough to set a change in your focus towards the here and now, towards what you're practicing now. Remember, we aren't guaranteed the fruit of our action, just the commitment to the action in yoga. It's a context from the Yoga Sutras that my friend Greta brought up last week that I find really functional and useful. Remember, we're not looking for the result. We're not judging on how much we sort of absolve, etc., and so on. Just notice. Can you be in process? Can you turn towards? To clear and prepare the energetic channel, take a big deep inhale in through your nose. And open mouth, exhale, HA. Inhale, prepare for Om. Take a long inhale in through your nose and a slow exhale out. And the seated position might be your grounding position where you choose to begin. If you're feeling pretty good there, feel free to stay. Otherwise, we'll move towards child's pose. I'm going to slide back onto this mat so I can be seen. And for child's pose, you could sink your hips to your heels. You could bring your big toes close. Your knees could be together or wide, any point in between. You can sink your hips back and bring your upper body forward and down. Some people prefer knees together to create a more rounded support for the back. Sometimes knees wide is best. You're welcome to stack your fists to catch your forehead or a block or some books or even a folded sweatshirt. If you want to apply props, please do and be creative. You could also take your arms out long in front. Choose instead to lie on your belly or your back. Many good reasons to make an alternative choice. Once you arrive wherever you are, let yourself settle into paying attention to how things are and to what's around you in your experience, what's around you in your person. Begin to listen. And as this practice of listening begins, you might begin to apply it first by the literal listening of your external ear. What do you hear? What is close? What is far? Are there sounds? Perhaps you're even just listening to a perceived sound of silence. You might also listen to your other sense organs. What do you see with your eyes? Maybe the backs of your eyelids. What do you smell with your nose? What's the temperature and texture and taste of this time? Do you feel any clear sense under the skin, sense over the body? You're going to notice how you feel in that same listening sense, like you're allowing yourself just to pay attention. I often think it's useful to put forth the context again of process-oriented work, so we're not looking to label or decide or discern what is right about ourselves or to solve any problems we perceive about ourselves in this lifetime, but instead simply to observe and not to go any further in that process, to be in an open, observational point of view. So notice where the body contacts the ground, where things are compressed, where there's structure versus softness, where things are easy, where there's contraction and action versus sort of a more soft and experiential, affected point of view in the body. What's your proprioceptive sense of where you are in space? If you're inside, how close are you to the door you came in by? Yoga doesn't promise us that what we experience will always be pleasant or pleasurable. There's a broad spectrum, so if you feel yourself coming back again and again to the same sensation, notice that too. Make sure you're listening at the low volumes for what is subtle, as well as for the more loud children of your experience. Notice also the energy, the quality, the mood, the context, how much sleep you got, and how your wheels are spinning. Consider any emotional context to be acknowledged. Notice how things are in your thinking mind. Listen for your thoughts. What are you thinking and how are you thinking it? Just like all compassionate listening practices, instead of trying to make response or opinion or judgment of thought, you can just observe thought. We know so little about the brain, honestly, and how much thought is in there. We know so little about the mind, which is different than the brain. It has this context always of telling us that it is us, right? It almost sounds like it's our voice sometimes, speaking in an internal monologue, or it's your eyes seeing inside an internal point of view. See if you can allow yourself to be a little broader, more universal as a being. All these things you experience are because you are part of everything. And so just because you're experiencing it doesn't mean you are anything necessarily. Allow yourself to practice the compassionate non-attachment of paying attention. Let's pay attention to the breath. Ujjayi pranayama. Exhale the air you have in your lungs. Get a little extra empty. Press the air away. And then slowly take an inhale in through your nose. Hold it softly at full. And open your mouth to exhale. HA. Very nice. Inhale in again through your nose slowly this time. Feel your belly and then your side ribs with your breath, maybe all the way up into your chest, and hold, retain it. And again, to open mouth, exhale, HA. Ujjayi pranayama, our liberating or upward victory breath. Breathe in through the nose slowly. Fill your body three-dimensionally, back to front and left to right. And hold softly once more at mostly full. This time, seal off your lips and sigh out through your nostrils, that same HA sound, but through your nose. And continuing, inhale in through your nose slowly. Sighing out through your nose slowly in your own pace. And see if you can think of your breath happening in your ribs and in your stomach and in your torso. Maybe also slowly in your throat. So you can hear that rise and fall with your external ear. The breath is our liberation practice, creating and destroying. And allowing us to be with friction, to create our own collaboration with the pathways of change. Little by slowly, as you begin to breathe, begin to move, you might slowly create action, wiggling fingers and toes. We're going to head towards the hands and knees position in the next 5 to 7 breaths. So you might already be relieving knee pressure, coming up, straightening a leg. You might start to move one breath to one movement. Just find a way of moving with your breath so that the two things can happen at once, perhaps eventually coordinating the breath. As you move, it can be experimental, it could be ritualized or habitual. It might be what you do every time. It might be based on the creaks and aches you feel today, what needs address, what needs space. Felt sense and wisdom are prioritized in this practice. And slowly, in the next few breaths, we'll start to meet in the hands and knees position, the tabletop shape. Take your time to get there. There's no rush. You'll stack your shoulders over your wrists, and I suggest usually a little more back with the hands than we think, just a hair, and the knees underneath the sockets of the hips. You might sway from side to side to feel it out. Look for samasthiti sense. We usually use that to refer to a standing posture. It means same on all sides or same as all. So we're trying to seek that sense of equilibrium. How can you stack the architecture of your body for maximum balance, maximum ease with minimum effort? All right, and once we're here, let's move to breathe. Inhale, cow pose. Drop your belly and ribs. Lift your chin and tail. And exhale to cat. Let's do a few more. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. Follow your breath through these two undulations a few more times. And the next time you're in cow pose, curl your toes under. And exhale into a moving down dog. Spin your knees and hips up and back and begin to breathe and move. Often we walk the dog, bending one knee, plugging the other heel down. You might twist the hips or shift your legs from side to side on your mat. Go wide, go narrow. Play around with the distance between hand and hand, foot and foot. Shrug and hood your shoulders, bend your elbows a few times. Generally in down dog, we're looking one day for equilibrium. No more weight in the hands than feet, though I think most humans feel a lot more pressure in their arms. Roll your shoulders out away from your neck. You might even widen your hands and turn your index fingers out. Bend your knees if you need to lift your heels up to alleviate tension in the hamstrings. Spin your tail up and extend your spine. Let your head hang, your neck be loose. Take an inhale out into a plank, upward push-up position, and right away use your knees on the mat, different than tabletop, so the hips are moving towards 180 as opposed to 90 degrees. Take an inhale, and on your exhale, bend your elbows and lower your chest and chin or your whole body down to the mat. Inhale to cobra. Rest the tops of your feet down. Lift your heart forward and up as your front body lowers to the mat. And exhale to bring your chin or forehead down. 2 more times like that. Inhale, cobra pose. Exhale, lengthen to lower. 1 more time, strong legs. Press your feet tops down. When you use your own exhale to release, curl your toes under, plug your knees down. Inhale through plank on the knees. Exhale to down dog. Spin your tail high and your heels low. Take an inhale in through your nose. And an exhale out through your nose. All right, another version of Chaturanga. You just did one, lowering knees and chest to come up through cobra. Inhale forward into a plank. Use the knees if you wish, or this time exhale slow. Bend your elbows in and back. Lower yourself down. Aim your ribs to hit right before your pubic bone. Tops of the feet down. Inhale cobra, Bhujangasana. Exhale, bring the upper body down and curl the toes from knees or toes. Inhale plank. and exhale to down dog. And I'm giving options because we're going to start flowing, and I'm going to trust you to build your own relationship with your options, to figure out what's right for you. Remember, there's no better way, right? The way that feels stable, secure, that builds real strength, always the best way, where you feel breath and ease, which might mean not doing it at all, which is always welcome. Inhale out into a plank for third variation. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Bend your elbows, lower about halfway. This can be done on the knees too. Inhale, upward dog, tops of your feet down. Try to lift the knees by engaging your legs, lift your heart. Exhale, down dog, curl your toes, tail high, heels low. Take an inhale in through your nose. Open mouth, exhale, HA. Inhale through the nose. Like a lion, HA. In through your mouth like through a straw. Out through your nose, Ujjayi Pranayama. In through your nose, Ujjayi. Out through your nose, Ujjayi. Inhale, bend your knees, lift your gaze, and exhale. Walk or float or tiptoe to the top of your matter space and hang in the ragdoll form of forward folding. I like to bend my knees and widen my feet so it's not about the hamstrings. They can let go and my spine has more space to stretch with gravity. Hang your head and do anything you like with your arms. You might flip your palms up. You might grab opposite elbow and sway. You can move or be still. Try to let gravity affect your spine. Notice if the neck or the jaw are still doing work to hold your head up. Next few exhales, start to release your arms out of any chosen grip. Let them hang. Choose your feet for Sun Salutation A. I like to work with my feet together, but I really advocate for feet at hips distance. Sometimes there's a little more balance involved with feet together. Sometimes we just need to leave an inch for the heels, etc. So if you know your way, go ahead and do it. Bend your knees, hang your head, and take 3 to 5 rounds of breath to slowly curl up. And of course, if your spinal discs or your wisdom about your body tell you to rise a different way, do. No offering is really for anyone. I mean, that's the idea, or everyone, rather. So even as we create accessibility, we have to create accessibility by celebrating our biodiversity, literally, our experiential diversity. When you rise to standing, you might take a few exhales, roll your shoulders down your back, and stack your head in relative neutral. Underwear trauma in my body by hunching my shoulders forward and rounding my upper back. So when I look to stand in Samasthiti, the only thing I correct or manage is to move back towards my sense of power by opening up the front of my body a little bit. You might have something like that, like you always tuck your tail, or you engage your legs, or you tuck your chin. Try not to over-manage your body. Instead, close the eyes and by feeling, try to set yourself in what feels like neutral. Remember, your body was made to take up space, and it was made to hold pride and dignity. So allow yourself that space with the body. Try not to speak to the body in the language of the dominant culture that is being destroyed right now. Instead, speak to the body in the future energy that you're creating it. Love, value, acceptance, health, wellness. A powerful tool for change, a powerful tool for spirituality, a powerful tool for beauty and truth. Notice your breath as you balance yourself. These two actions are really what we do in Vinyasa. We seek Samasthiti, a sense of same standing. Spinning planet, revolving universe will never actually be still, so soften your feet and let yourself settle down into gravity, trying to find a place of soft balance with minimal management. And then we pay attention to the Ujjayi breath. We create the ebb and flow, the rise and fall of a metered breath, a breath meant to slow and soothe us while keeping our heart rate up at a good pace for action. On your next Ujjayi inhale, flutter your eyes open if you close them. On your next Ujjayi exhale, tune in to what's around you. And slowly at first, we'll do Surya Namaskara A. Inhale your arms out or forward, up overhead. Hands can be shoulder distance, so you're welcome to press the palms and look up if it feels all right with your neck and shoulders. Exhale, forward fold. Bend at your knees if you'd like. Fold at your hips. Hang your upper body down. Inhale, halfway lift. Unroll your heart straight out. Again, knees bent might be there for you. Exhale to plank pose. You might step. If you're floating back, bend the elbows. Exhale, bend the elbows and find Chaturanga, half or all the way, your choice. Inhale to up dog or cobra, one of those options we did at the beginning. Exhale to downward dog pose, tail high, heels low. Ujjayi in through the nose. Ujjayi out through the nose. Press with your hands so your shoulders are trying to extend, but that extension goes up into your hips and lower back. Relax your neck. You might apply Uddiyana and Mula Bandha. Lift the floor of your pelvis up. Engage your navel. Nothing extreme. These are just areas of tone to support. Your next available exhale, step or float your feet to the top of your mat and we'll finish the cycle. Inhale, halfway lift, unroll your heart spine. Exhale, forward fold, dive down and in. Inhale, arms up pose. Always feel free to soften the knees if it gives you pliability. Reach upward. Exhale, samasthiti, return to neutral, standing. All right. Inhale, arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana to extend. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana, unroll the spine. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana of your choice. Inhale, upward dog pose, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, downward dog pose, Adho Mukha Svanasana, Ujjayi. Remember, if you have issues with the wrists, you're welcome to work in the dolphin form of the down dog with your elbows down, and also work in tabletop at any time, a good alternative to the downward dog pose. Breathe into your back ribs and side ribs. Exhale, step, hop, or float forward and arrive on the soles of your feet at the top of your mat. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, arms up, pose, Urdhva Hastasana, reaching upward. Exhale, Samasthiti, arms come down. We'll do it a few more times. Ekam, inhale, arms up. Dve, exhale, folding deeply. Trini, inhale, halfway lift, unroll your heart. Chatwari, exhale, Chaturanga of your choice. Pancha, inhale, up dog or cobra. Shat, exhale, downward dog pose, 3 to 5 breaths, Ujjayi form, in and out through the nose or mouth. Exhale, float forward, arrive on the soles of your feet at the top of your mat. Supta, inhale, halfway lift. Ashto, exhale, forward fold. Noah, inhale, all the way up to Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Samasthiti, return to neutral. Again, Ekam, inhale, arms up pose. Use your exhale, Due, to fold down. Trini, inhale, unroll your heart. Chatwari, exhale, step or float. Chaturanga Dandasana, Pancha, inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Shat, exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Ujjayi pranayama, in and out through the nose or mouth. Exhale, float forward. Supta, inhale and roll. Ashto, exhale, folding deeply. Noah, inhale all the way up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Samasthiti. Last one, Ekam. Inhale. Due, exhale. Trini, inhale. Chatwari, exhale. Pancha, inhale. Shat, exhale. Breathing in and out through the nose. Exhale, float forward, strong hands on the way. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms all the way up, pose. Exhale, Samasthiti. All right, take a big deep inhale in through your nose. Exhale, bend your knees, sink your hips for Utkatasana, Surya Namaskara B, the second form of sun salutation. Inhale your arms forward, outer up, breathe. Pause in Utkatasana. So Utkata means fierce and powerful and fiery. This is really the pose of the rebellion, right? The pose of the ability to be strong with ourselves, to be with our own discomfort and be willing to be compassionate and allow for change, create change, as it were. You're always welcome to do your hands in front of your heart, especially if you start to feel like that power is oppressing you, right? If you're sort of being pushed down by your own tension, change it. Bend your elbows, take your arms wide. Old classical forms suggest palms pressing, so if that isn't a violent action for you, feel free to do it. Look up if your neck allows. Otherwise, change things until it's powerful for you. Take a big free inhale in. Exhale, fold forward, dive over your legs as they straighten. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Step your feet back and lower half or all the way. Inhale, upward dog or an alternative. Exhale, downward dog, and still exhaling, step your right foot forward between your hands. Now that's a lot to do on one exhale, so go ahead and keep breathing this first time. You might spin your back heel down. We're headed to warrior one. You might grab your foot and pull it forward. On an inhale, rise up. Just like Utkatasana, anything with the arms is fine. Classic action is arms up, palms pressed, gaze up. Exhale, hands down. Step back to Chaturanga of your choice. Inhale, upward dog or an alternative. Exhale, down dog. Same exhale, left foot steps forward. Try not to swing it up and back unless you know you got it. Spin your back heel down and inhale the arms up. Warrior one. Virabhadrasana, the noble hero. Exhale, Chaturanga, hands down, step it back to lower down. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Ujjayi pranayama, in and out through your nose. We stay in down dog because often it is a place of discomfort and strangeness. Try not to be violent with yourself. So if you need to change it to create that wave of compassion, a revolution of love and kindness, feel free to do it. Otherwise, notice how you can apply loving kindness to situations of imperfection and difficulty, places of confusion. And then your next available exhale, step or float forward, land on your feet soles. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. We complete the cycle by going back to Utkatasana. Bend your knees, sink your hips. Inhale the arms forward or up. Still inhaling, stand all the way up. And exhale to Samasthiti. Good. Bend your knees, sink your hips right into the next one. Inhale, arms up, Utkatasana. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward dog pose. Exhale, downward dog, and still exhaling, right foot steps forward, left heel down. Inhale, rise to warrior one. Exhale, lower to Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog, and still exhaling, left foot steps, right heel roots. Inhale, warrior one, rise up, reaching upward. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, hands down, step it back to lower. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog, Ujjayi Pranayama. Exhale, float forward, land on your feet at the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, Utkatasana. Inhale, arms forward or up. Still inhaling, stand up. Exhale, Samasthitihi, to bend the knees, sink the hips. Inhale, fierce pose. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, down dog, right foot. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog, left foot. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog, Ujjayi. Breathe. We put into the body the pattern, the ritual. That really we seek to unpattern, to create a new pattern of peace and kindness, of awareness, channeling and focusing our energies like rage and love towards what we seek to create in our karma, in nature, in this lifetime together. Exhale, float forward, land on your feet. Inhale, unroll halfway. Exhale, fold, bend your knees. Inhale, Utkatasana, still inhaling, rise. Exhale, Samasthitihi, 2 more. Bend your knees, sink your hips. Inhale, arms up. Listen though, a little change. Exhale, open twist to the right. So bring your right arm back and your left arm forward. Inhale, back through Utkatasana. Exhale, twist to the left. Right arm forward, left arm back. Inhale, back through center, Utkatasana. Exhale, forward fold, dive over your legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward dog pose. Exhale, downward dog pose, right foot steps. Inhale, warrior one. Wait for it. Exhale, open twist your warrior one. So left arm forward, right arm back. Now be kind with your back knee. This might not be a huge twist in the upper body. And also spin the back heel up if you feel a tug back there. Inhale back through center, warrior one. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog, and the left foot steps forward. Right heel roots. Inhale, Virabhadrasana. Exhale, twist to the left. Take a few breaths. Figure out the version, the space you want to be in, where you feel stable, where there's structure to cultivate ease. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog, Ujjayi Pranayama, in and out through your nose. Exhale, float forward, land on your feet. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, bend your knees for Utkatasana. Inhale, arms up, listen. Exhale, hands to heart center, twist to the right. So you can twist upright and also choose to go back to first variation. You might tilt forward and try to hook your elbow on the outside, left elbow outside of right knee, or maybe even armpit. You're welcome to squeeze your arm between your two legs as well. Wider stance, you might be on the inside of your left knee with your arm. You're welcome to take the arms to fly away. Perhaps you take another few breaths. Settle your weight back and down into your heels. Turn your spine to the right. Exhale, forward fold, release it. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, Utkatasana, fold and bend your knees. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands to heart center, twist left. Upright, open option, elbow around knee. Fly away, bind, breathe. Good. Exhale, release, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold and bend your knees. Inhale, Utkatasana. Still inhaling, stand all the way up. Exhale, Samastiti. All right, last one. Again with add-ons. Take a big free inhale in. Exhale, bend your knees, sink your hips. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana, pause. Walk your feet out, hips distance, maybe a bit wider, 6-8 inches. Inhale, unroll your heart. Exhale, fold. Bend your left knee, left fingertips down, right arm up. Inhale, twist to the right. Now, you can definitely come all the way up onto your bent left knee. And definitely bend both knees. You are welcome right away if you know binding is for you. I know a few of you are like expert binders. Feel free to go to town. You are welcome to start to work a half bind of your top arm behind your back or a full bind of threading your left arm underneath. You might make contact of your left shoulder, outer arm with your left inner thigh. Push the two into each other and turn. Take a big free inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Good. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, bend your right knee, right hand down, inhale, left arm up. I'm laughing because my dog Albert has decided to join us on the yoga mat. He's writhing around. Whatever version you did on the other side is fine right here and now. I always think seeing an animal writhe is a nice reminder of why we do the physical aspect, and that there's a lot of natural wisdom that tells us what feels good, and that those things don't necessarily make a lot of rational sense, and that's okay. Next couple of exhales, fold down. Not everything is understood by rationale. Inhale, halfway lift. A lot of things are understood and integrated by the body and the heart. Exhale, fold. Chaturanga Dandasana. Step or float your feet back, lower halfway or all the way. Inhale, upward dog or an alternative. Exhale, downward dog and step your right foot forward between your hands. Left heel down. Inhale, rise, warrior one. On your exhale, flip your left palm up. That's the same side as your back leg. Grab a hold of your left wrist with your right hand and inhale, stretch up. And on your exhale, start to side body bend over to the right. You're tilting as opposed to twisting, though usually the two things start to happen together. And you might lift your chin up and lean back. You might choose a more tilted forward angle. Feels good in your body. It'll be different for everyone. Good. Inhale, rise back to center, warrior one. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, step or float back to lower. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog, and step your left foot forward. Right heel roots, inhale, warrior one. Then your exhale, flip your right palm up, grab your right wrist with your left hand, inhale, and exhale, side bend to the left. Breath by breath, Ujjayi Pranayama. Strong legs. Let your hips feel heavy. Feel that relationship of rooting to give you buoyancy up above. Good. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Take a few breaths in down dog. I'm going to suggest some twisting here. Bend your knees, lift your heels. And then be kind with your knees, but turn your knees to the left and your tail to the right. You might pivot on the balls of your feet, like you're doing the twist or the mashed potato. Inhale back to center. And exhale, switch. Twist your hips to the left, point your kneecaps to the right. And it doesn't have to be extreme to be effective. Just trying to turn at the waist, the spine, the middle of the down dog. Good. Next few exhales, come back to neutral. Complete the cycle. Press into your hands. Use an exhale to step or float forward. Land on your feet. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees, sink your hips. Inhale, arms up, Utkatasana. Still inhaling, stand all the way up. And exhale, Sama Sthiti. All right, I'm going to move through some standing actions with balance, build a little bit of a flow, and then work down into the ground. The idea is just to work on flowing with change. So my suggestion is keep your sense of humor if you can, whenever possible. All right, stand on your right foot, bend your left knee, lift your left thigh up, parallel to the earth in front of you. The knee bent, the foot can just hang, or you can flex it, plug the heel down. Take a moment. Imagine you're pressing your left hip down as much as you're pressing your right heel down, right? So you feel like you have stability. All right, inhale the arms out or up overhead, reach upward. And on your exhale, bend your right knee and step your left foot way back. High lunge. Inhale, arms up, crescent lunge, reaching up if they're not already there. And exhale to warrior two. Spin your left heel down, widen your arms out. Good. Take a moment in warrior two to breathe. You might bend and straighten into your front knee a few times. Check out your angles. There's no pane of glass coming to squish you, so feel free to puff out your ribs. Just stick out your tail to let your thigh bones roll in and out. Flip your right palm up when you're ready and inhale to reverse the warrior. You can slide the left hand down the back leg, avoid the knee as you breathe. You're welcome to gaze upward or hang your head down to address the realities of your neck health. Good. Press into the feet. Inhale. And exhale, hands down to frame your right foot. Spin your left heel up. Inhale, plank pose. Step back or float your right foot back. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog. Probably both feet on the earth by now. Exhale, downward facing dog pose. Listen. Inhale, take your left leg up, one-footed dog. Exhale, scorpion. Open the hip and bend the knee. You can roll your ankle around a few times. Move your thigh bone in and out in the socket of your hip. Make circles if it feels good. Breathe in the Ujjayi form. When you're ready, use an inhale to straighten and extend your left leg high and long, and exhale your knee towards your nose, your chin towards your chest, and your shoulders towards the space over your wrists. Inhale, one-footed dog reach. Exhale, low lunge. Step your left foot forward between your hands, tent to your fingertips, or if you have them around, books or blocks underneath your hands. Inhale, cow lunge. Dip your back knee, lift your heart up. Exhale, cat lunge, straightening both legs to round in. Inhale, cow lunge. Exhale, cat lunge. Inhale, bend your front knee, look forward. Exhale, step forward and fold at the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Good. Bend your knees, sink your hips. Inhale, Utkatasana, arms up, reaching upward. And on your exhale, wrap your right arm over your left. So left elbow under and the eagle arm. Might be a little different than the way you're used to doing it. You can interweave your fingers or reach for your shoulders. And standing on your left foot, wrap your right thigh over your left. If you'd like, you can always use your blocks as a kickstand, the earth as a kickstand. Maybe you point your toes back behind you or wrap your foot behind your calf. Garuda, the fully born golden eagle. Lift your heart up, a symbol of liberation. Slowly, we're going to unravel to our original position. So inhale, unravel the arms, stand up, unravel the right leg, and exhale to find this position. Right knee in front of right hip. Inhale, arms up, reaching upward. Exhale, bend your standing left knee and step back with your right foot. Take your time to find landing. Inhale, arms up to high lunge, crescent lunge, Asana. Exhale to warrior two. Open the arms as you widen the feet and gaze out along the horizon of your fingertips. Take a few breaths again on this side in the warrior two to figure out where things are at. You might apply Uddiyana Mula Bandha, but remember, this is not about making the body smaller, creating a sense of shame, instead a sense of power at the center, and drive your heels down. When you're ready, flip your left palm up. Inhale, reverse your warrior out, up and back. And slide your hand down your back leg, gaze up, widen through the left side of your rib cage. Good. Use an exhale when you're ready. Hands down. Step back or float your left foot back for Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward dog pose. And exhale, downward dog. Inhale your right leg up and back, one-footed dog. Exhale, scorpion. Open the hip, bend the knee, and breathe. Again, you might take the time to move your leg around. When you're ready, inhale, straighten and reach, right leg high and long. Exhale, knee to nose, chin to chest, shoulders over wrist like plank. Inhale, one-footed dog, reach, expand. Exhale, low lunge, step your foot between your hands. Tent to the fingertips or maybe draw blocks around the front foot. Inhale, cow lunge, dip your back knee, lift your chest up. Exhale, cat lunge, straightening to round in. Inhale, cow lunge. Exhale, cat lunge. Good. Breathe through a few more of these iterations back and forth. Stay grounded in your feet, strong in your legs, soft in your neck. The next time your front knee is bent, pause. Take an inhale, look forward. And exhale with one or many steps. Bring your left foot up to meet your right foot. Hang in, forward, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Utkatasana. Bend your knees, hips low. Inhale, arms up, reaching upward. And on your exhale, bring your left arm over your right. So right elbow under for eagle arms of any form. Stand on your right foot and inhale your left thigh over your right. And you might make a kickstand with props with the ground. You might wrap your foot behind. You can always do just the arms or just the legs if you're working on an option for yourself. Lift your heart up, your elbows up perhaps. Drop your shoulders down, your hips down. Slowly inhale to unwind your arms and exhale to unwind mindfully your left leg. You can stand up, straightening your right knee, hang your left thigh in front of you. Good. Inhale, arms up, reaching up, right back to our original position. Exhale, bend your right knee and step your left foot back. Long, low lunge. This time, inhale your arms up. And exhale, twist to the right. Open your right arm back and your left arm forward. Now you might stay right here. You can also choose to lean forward and hook the elbow and press your palms in prayer. Reach your hands around to bind behind your back. High on the ball of your left foot, heavy in your front heel. Turn your gaze upward if your neck allows. You could also work closing your eyes for balance and hanging your head down. Exhale, press into your heels. Inhale back to crescent lunge, high lunge. Exhale to warrior two, open it up. Good. Take a big free inhale in. And exhale to extended side angle pose. Bring your right elbow to your knee. You can slide your hand down towards the earth or a prop, inside or outside of your foot. Take your opposite left arm up and over, maybe gazing upward. Plug your heels down. Inhale, reverse warrior. Take your right arm up and back behind you. Slide your left hand down your back leg. And exhale, hands to the mat. Good. Inhale, step or float your right foot back. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward facing dog pose. Good. Do a big free inhale in through your nose. Long, slow exhale out. Inhale your left leg up, one-footed dog. Exhale, scorpion, open the hip, bend the knee. Inhale, straighten and reach, and exhale, bring your left knee towards your nose, chin towards your chest, shoulders over your wrists. Stay forward. Take an inhale, swing your left knee out to your left arm, and exhale, swing it under to your right arm. I know, inhale, one-footed dog, reach it high. Exhale, low lunge, step forward. Whew, good. Inhale, like cow lunge, look forward. This time, exhale, plant your left heel. Again, you might use your blocks or props to help you. Inhale, extend your right leg up, standing L or split. Exhale by exhale, fold your face towards your leg. Both knees could be bent, and try to be strong in the legs, like you're trying to stretch two heels away from one another. Push your left heel down. Relax your jaw. Hands are just there to guide, not to tense. Take another big free inhale. Exhale, soften your standing knee and start to lift your chest up. Inhaling like a halfway lift, you might end up more in a T or airplane shape. You could exhale your hands to your hips, your arms out to the side. Slowly bend your left knee and inhale to pull your right thigh through. And exhale to wrap it around your left leg for eagle legs. Yeah. Inhale your arms out. Exhale your right elbow over your left. Lift your chest up. Good. Take a big free inhale. And a long, slow exhale. Good. Inhale slow. Unravel your arms. Exhale slow. Unravel your legs. Spin your right thigh up. In front of you, plug your left heel down. Inhale, arms out or up. Exhale, bend your left knee, step your right foot back, long lunge. Inhale, arms up if they aren't already. Exhale, twist to the left, open twist, or hands to heart center, elbow to knee. And always take your back knee to the earth for a different variety. You might bind your hands. Stabilize your heel on the ground in your front foot. You might think of buoyancy in your right hip, lifting it up even as you turn to twist to the left. What are you experiencing? Good. Exhale slow to unbind. If you bound up, inhale to rise to high lunge, crescent lunge. And exhale to warrior two. Open it up. Inhale to lengthen forward and exhale to side angle pose, elbow to knee, maybe hand towards the earth, inside or outside of the foot, right arm up or over, breathing. Albert, keep doing your pose. Apologies. All right, inhale, reverse your warrior out, up and back. Probably been in side angle just about long enough. And exhale, hands to the mat. Good. Step or float your left foot back, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward facing dog pose. Take a big free inhale in through your nose. Open mouth exhale, HA. Again, in through the nose, inhale. Open mouth, HA. In through your mouth like through a straw. Breathe out through your nose, Ujjayi Pranayama. In through the nose, Ujjayi. Out through the nose, Ujjayi. Inhale, lift the right leg, one-footed dog. Exhale, scorpion, open the hip and bend the knee. Inhale, straighten and reach. Exhale, right knee towards the nose and keep it there, shoulders over wrists. Inhale, swing your right knee out towards your right arm. Exhale, swing your right knee under towards your left arm. Inhale, one-footed dog, reach. Exhale, low lunge. Step forward between your hands. Good. Inhale, like cow lunge, lift the heart. Exhale, your right heel heavy, and maybe with a few steps. Inhale, standing L or split. Kick the sky with your left foot. Take as many breaths as you need to fold forward and down. Good. Take an exhale, plug your right heel down, soften the bend of your standing right knee. Inhale like a halfway lift. Lift your chest up. And exhale slowly. Hands could come to the hips or out to the sides. Use your back muscles. Think about what you use to back bend to help you stand up. Pull your left leg forward and wrap it over and around your right leg for eagle. Sink your hips low. Inhale the arms out and exhale your left elbow over your right elbow. As you settle your hips down and back, lift your heart up, your elbows up, and breathe. Good. Release your arms. Inhale. Exhale. Release your legs. Stand up to that original position. Inhaling. Exhale. Put your both feet down on your mat. All right. Inhale. Take your arms up overhead. Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale. Forward fold. Dive down. Inhale. Halfway lift. And exhale, folding. Widen your feet if they're not quite wide yet. Bend your right knee, right hand down. Inhale, left arm up. We'll do this twist on the opposite side. And again, you might have bound. It's been a while since we did this on the other side. You might find that there's a differing variation that you want to take. Breathe where you are. Good, and exhale to fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, unroll your heart. Exhale, forward fold, dive down. Come here, doglet. Come here. And inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands down, step back to plank pose and pause. I'm going to do side planks, starting with left hand or forearm as the base. Roll to the outside edge of your feet. I like to stagger my feet. You might step your back foot over or the other way behind you. You might bring your bottom knee down instead and have the top leg long. You're welcome to work on your bottom elbow, especially if this becomes wrist or shoulder centric. Take the top arm up, press your hips up, maybe gaze up. We'll stay for about 5 rounds of Ujjayi breath to strengthen the spine. Plank pose or forearm plank, 5 breaths. Always welcome to be on the knees, to take tabletop. Side plank, right hand or forearm is the base. Roll to the outside edge of your right foot. Stagger, stack your feet. Feel free to take bottom knee down or top leg up and over. Gaze up or hang the head down. Breathing, 5 breaths. Ujjayi pranayama. How is your willingness to be with what is? And here's our plank pose. Last time, hands or forearms, breathing. If 5 breaths of plank is like not for you, but 5 handstands hops are, you might go to down dog, bend your knees on the exhale. Use your inhales to hop up. Otherwise, hang out in plank. Plank is harder for me, so I'm going to stay there with you. 3 more breaths. Exhale, lower all the way down. We'll come up into the Sphinx Pose, and your elbows, forearms underneath your armpits, or maybe a little in front. Sometimes sliding them wide to the sides also can give you uplift without too much pressure. We're trying to put some exercise into the connective tissue of the lower back. So if you feel something there, that's okay. If it feels too intense, lower your upper body down. Sometimes the shape of your bones is already enough. If you're looking for a little bit more pressure in your lower back, bend your knees and squeeze your toes to your tail. Begin to walk your hands underneath your shoulders more and lift your heart up. You do this a bit like a yin pose and stay for 10 breaths. Breathe in the ujjayi form, however, throughout. 5 more breaths. Slowly, if you took a different variation, begin to lower your upper body down. And if you came to the hands, come back to the forearms. We're going to take the right arm and thread it underneath and behind the left elbow, like we would from hands and knees for threading the needle. And then you can choose to sort of turn your head to the right. You might turn your gaze to the left. Some of us will take the left hand and top it on top of the right, interweave the fingers, and kind of use your left hand to pull or push your right arm away from the socket. Be more passive. Bring your chin down. Bring a hand or fist into your forehead. Let some weight come down into the back of your arm and your deltoid. Breathe. Option to stay or to take your left arm. Do the same thing. Thread it to the right. Start with the palms up, as it were. So your arms are crossing in front of your chest. And sometimes it feels a little like then you're being a little bit cut off in the throat by your arms, a little choked off, etc. If that's true for you, please back away. Anything that doesn't feel like the right action for you, give yourself permission to let it go. There's lots of reasons why certain shapes feel certain ways for us, and since we're seeking peace and power, if this shape is not part of that work, it's always okay to choose a different one, like the tabletop version of thread the needle, or something altogether different. Good. If you threaded the left arm, slowly lift yourself up. I usually have to scooch my elbows and press the backs of my hands into the ground to take your right arm out and then shimmy back to the left. And again, you might interweave your fingers and be push-pulling your arms over. Some people really like this version. You might be turning your head down to hang. We'll take a few breaths in this first version before we move on to another. All right. If you haven't already, you might lift yourself up enough to thread your right arm in front of your left. And this time you might turn your palms down. See if it's any different. Hang the head, turn the gaze one way or the other. 3 more rounds of breath. And slowly press into the elbows to shimmy yourself out and back up to Sphinx Pose. All right. We'll inhale through tabletop. We're going to work into a little bit of frog action. So I'm going to turn so you can see, depending on the floor you're on, you have some choices. So half frog might be the thing you do. So from tabletop for half frog, you're just going to take your right knee out to the right, slide your left leg back, and lay down. You could do this up here in the Sphinx action again. We're trying to work the inner thigh and the external rotation. This is sort of like our pigeon for the day. Some people want their knee more straight or more bent. It feels different. And some of us roll so much to the left side, you might even kind of try to lift yourself up and over. Sometimes, in fact, I've seen one of my friends do this. You can ball up your prop, your mat or your towel or your sweatshirt and put it underneath your opposite left hip so you're kind of up and over. That's half frog. I'll let you know when to switch sides if you're doing the half. If you want to do the whole frog, you might have taken one knee out to the side and then take the other knee out to the side. And your knees can be toes close, toes wide. There's a lot of different opinions. Wherever your knees feel safe and stable is good with me. If you get into this and you think like, who the fuck is this pose for? It's not for me. Feel free not to be in it. You know, they're not for everybody. Remember that just because somebody else's body has an easy time doing something doesn't mean that there's something wrong with them because it's hard for you, or wrong with you because it's hard, easy for them, etc. Our bodies are different, and they're meant to do so much more than bend and twist. The value of your body lays so much more in your experience of it from a yoga point of view. And so you could stay upright. Some of you might come down to hands or forearms. A few of you I know have a practice of things like Konasana, the side splits, and if you love that, you might do that here. We're going to stay for about 5 more rounds of breath. My other suggestion is if the insides of your knees feel really hard against the ground, you can pad them. If you feel like it takes you a while to get into this shape, you could always hit pause on the video and stay for a few extra breaths. If you're there and you want to stay there, by all means. For some folks, this is a really relieving perspective or pose. You might stay. Otherwise, feel free to start to lift up. If you were doing one side, this is your moment to switch to the opposite side. Right? If you are in frog pose and you're like, what? I have to stay for a whole other side. Don't worry. You can release now and be with how things are. You could also choose to come up onto your hands and do a little back bend. So just like that Sphinx pose, you could lift your chest up and open your heart and shrug into your shoulders. You might go more forward or back to relieve pressure in your hips. And a few more breaths. All right, in the next few breaths, we're going to start to think about exiting. Some of you will slide forward onto your belly and let your legs slide back behind you. Most of us will bring our hands underneath us and lift our face up. I love how my dog looks like he's giant in the shot. Okay. And then sit your hips and your heels for a moment. You can always sit on a block. Work into stretching the quads. So if you know you can go ahead and head to a hero's pose shape, feel free. That just requires widening the feet a little wider than the hips and sitting your hips back and down. Again, a lot of us have been taught this with 1 or 2 blocks or a lift underneath your hips. And if that's compassionate for your knees, do. Really, we're seeking a lengthening here so that we can back bend in a moment. You can stay upright and breathe. Your knees might go a little wider than hips distance, but any wider than that would kind of change the target. So it's up to you always. You want to go back onto your elbows or your forearms, you're welcome to head back. If your knees pop up a lot and you feel pain, then maybe don't go back. If your knees pop up and there's no pain, there's nothing inherently wrong with that action. You can hang your head back like fish pose. The few of you etc., do so. I'm going to take a Camel Asana. You're always welcome to take a different back bend or skip it. And teaching the mini Camel 2 with the hips on the heels and interwoven fingers, lifting the heart up. You might begin there and take this shape. It's also a nice thing to do leaning back over a chair, a couch for a few breaths. You're going to take Camel in its full form or its general offered form. Stand on your knees and feet hips distance, maybe a bit wider, especially if you're one of my friends who has that posterior tilt business. If you've got a little tuck under, sometimes wideness gives us the space. You can bring your hands into your lower back, pinkies in, thumbs out, or I like to do thumbs in, fingers out, a la my friend Sugar. You can bring your elbows in and back, take an inhale, lift your heart up, and exhale, hang your head back and press your experience what you're experiencing. If you feel good and you see down behind you a bit, you might reach for your heels one at a time, fingers in, thumbs out. Press your hips forward, your heart up, and breathe. Slowly, hands on the hips. If you release into the hips, your head back up. Sit your hips on your heels, or sit a different. Move through. Flexibility, resiliency. Right? They don't mean that we give over everything. They just mean that we are able to change as we wish, when we wish, how we wish. That we're able to be with things that we hadn't initially imagined would be there. Take an inhale in through your nose. Open mouth, exhale. And shift your hips off to one side. You could always choose to meditation seat instead of resting on the back. You could always choose to be in a totally different shape as long as it's sustainable and kind. Close your eyes, soften your face. If you're still taking your time to settle down, take your time to do so. There is no inherent rush, at least not in the timeline I'm offering. And shut down the lids of the eyes and soften the teeth and the tongue. Let your belly muscles soften and the internal organs of your abdominal cavity kind of hang and slacken. Relaxation is interesting because often it's a privilege granted to those who are allowed to feel safe. That's an outside-in form of relaxation and power, the idea that somebody external needs to give you freedom, needs to give you your voice. Swasti prajabhyah paripalayantam nyayena margena mahimahishaha go brahmanyebhyah shubhamastu nityam loka samasta sukino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti.